So as I told you earlier, we are going to discuss about insights of onboarding 2.2 and automatic additional data or document transfer into Employee Central, right? Uh, okay, the agenda for today is I'll just walk you through the standard onboarding 2.2 process, the standard process, how exactly the onboarding will start, and who are all the different participants will be participate in the onboarding, and how exactly this onboarding process will go through, and once after onboarding is completed, then what happens next. So how candidate will convert into employee. Yeah. Then additional data collection movement into Employee Central. How exactly the data that whatever we collected in onboarding as part of additional onboarding step. Say, for example, you may have to collect some documents from the candidate and you may have to collect from COVID vaccination details. So whatever the data that we collect apart from the standard data, how exactly you are going to transfer this data into Employee Central. We are going to look at that as well. And problem statement. So what exactly the problem as of now we have, and what is the solution that we are going to give as a talent team? We found a solution through by using an integration, and how exactly this solution is going to work, and this solution will help our customers to retain the data that we collected in additional onboarding step and just store this data into Employee Central so that employees can see this data at any point of time in from Employee Central on their profile itself. And what are the key benefits of this solution is what we're going to discuss. So this is a high level agenda. So at the end of the session, we have a question and answer session where we can I'll take up all your questions and I'll answer to your questions. Yeah. Okay. So if you can see my screen, so this is a high level process overview, how exactly the onboarding will start, who will start an onboarding, and who are all the participants will be there in onboarding, and how exactly the process will end, and how the data will transfer into Employee Central. Yeah. So basically the onboarding will start from the recruitment where you have an RCM implemented, and from there, once the RCM process is completed, recruitment process is completed for the candidate, once the offer is accepted by the candidate, then you will start initiating onboarding from there. So recruiter or hiring manager also can initiate. You can decide who has to initiate onboarding. So once you initiate onboarding, then the data will transfer into onboarding system from recruitment. What are the data that we collected in recruitment from the candidate, the entire data will push into onboarding module. Yeah. So in onboarding module, the first step is review new hire data. So this step will be assigned to the onboarding team, can be assigned to onboarding team or to hiring manager. So you can decide, being a customer, being a organization, they can decide who has to review this data that is transferred from recruitment. So once you review this step, review the data that whatever has flown from recruitment, again here in this step you'll be able to add the additional information as well. You will be able to add the extra information that if you would want to, or if you can even modify the data. Yeah. Being a hiring manager or being an onboarding executive, they can just review and modify the data and complete this step. So once after you complete this step, then there will be email notification to respect to task owners to complete the onboarding tasks. There are two parallel activities. One is to trigger the tasks. One is to new joiner, the new candidate, to complete the personal information. So basically, uh, let me come from tasks. So as soon you complete the review new hire data, then the tasks will be assigned to a respective person. Maybe it is to hiring manager or to onboarding team, or writing a welcome message and scheduling a meetings, prepare for day one, setting a goals, assigning a buddy, recommending a people. So these are the different tasks available as part of standard onboarding offering. Yeah. This is one activity which will be triggered to onboarding team or hiring manager, and the other parallel activity is to new joiner, the new hire, right? So there will be a task assigned to new hire to access the onboarding system and complete reviewing the personal information, whatever the information that he has provided in the previous step. maybe in a recruitment step, and the data which is fed in the onboarding module by the hiring manager or onboarding executive in the review new hire data step. So this information will be available for the new hire, where they can just go and review it. And if they would like to modify some information, for example, they would like to add the nationality information, they would like to add phone information, being a candidate, they'll be able to add in this step, personal data collection step. Let me just highlight the pointer. Yeah, so this is the step. In the personal data collection step, the candidate will get an access to onboarding system, and he will be able to review the data that is fed in these two steps. Yeah. So once after the personal data collection step is done, then the additional onboarding data collection. So this is the step where we are going to, being an organization, we will ask a candidate to provide set of information which is required to complete the onboarding. Maybe in this step you can collect different documents which is required to complete the onboarding, or you may collect different information. Say for example, few customers may collect some parking details. If candidate need a parking space in the company, so he can just provide the details, like which car he has and what are the square feet that he required a parking, something like that, or uniform details, or canteen facility, whether the candidate required a canteen facility. Yeah. And you may require to collect the COVID information, whether he is vaccinated or non-vaccinated. If he is vaccinated, on what vaccination he has taken, and what date, like how many doses he has taken, all such information you can collect as part of additional onboarding data collection step. So in this step, we are going to configure different objects for you. We're going to configure different portlets for you, and we'll just present these portlets to candidate, where the candidate will fill in the information, and this information will get stored into SuccessFactors onboarding. Yeah. So once after this step, this compliance forms is something is specific to few countries alone, which is Australia and Canada and US and UK. And rest of the countries, the compliance forms are not available as of now in onboarding, SuccessFactors onboarding. For them, like you can have the different policy agreement documents configured, which is required uh, as part of onboarding. Yeah. So maybe in onboarding, we may have to collect some policy agreement documents from the candidate. Candidate may have to sign some security safeguarding policy or equipment usage policy, non-NDA, non-disclosure agreement. So such policy agreement documents, you may have to get the signature from the candidate. Yeah. So those documents you will accommodate under the signature step, where these policy documents will be presented to a candidate, where the candidate can sign the document digitally, and these documents will be stored digitally in the system. Yeah. So once after this step, then the data will move into manage pending hire, where if you have an employee central, the data will automatically move into manage pending hire step, where the employee central administrator will access this data and will start converting an employee as candidate into employee. Yeah. So we can see all these process in detail in a while. Yeah. Okay. So let me just directly jump into system, and I'll showcase the demo, whatever we have discussed now. Yeah. So let me stop sharing and reshare my SuccessFactors screen. Hope you all can see my screen, SuccessFactors screen. So I logged in as a recruiter, for example, and I'm in a recruiting tab. So I have different candidates in the pipeline with the different statuses. So once the candidate complete all these processes, once the offer is accepted and once the candidate is moved to ready to hire, this is where you're going to initiate onboarding for the candidate. Yeah. So you will choose a candidate here to initiate onboarding, and there is an action button here, and you have a button called initiate onboarding. Just click on initiate onboarding. Here it is just a pop. There is another pop-up saying you are initiating onboarding for one candidate. just please confirm. Just once you confirm it, then you have a pop-up message saying onboarding process for G1 is initiated. Click OK. Then now, as per the PPT, the first step is review new hire data, which is assigned to onboarding executive. Yeah, let me just log in as onboarding executive. Say for example, I logged in as onboarding executive, and now I will just go to home page and I'll see if I have a review new hire data step is assigned. So all the date this pending activities, right? A review new hire data step is assigned to onboarding executive. Since I logged in as onboarding executive, I can see the data review new hire data activity here. This is the task which I need to complete being an onboarding executive. Yeah, this task can be assigned to manager as well, or you can assign this task to group of people. Again, it's purely based on your customer requirement. We can tweak it. So once if I go here, I will just see the candidate. So I can see the candidate here. Start date is 1st March 2023. This is an example start date I have provided here. So to complete this activity, just click on complete now. Yeah. Once I go here, the standard employee central portraits, that whatever we have as part of succession data model, I mean, standard portraits as part of hiring, that whatever the fields that you see, right? So the same same fields will be available here. So again, that is the reason to implement onboarding 2.0. EC is normally the prerequisite. It's not prerequisite to implement EC, but we recommend to implement EC so that the same easy architecture we can reuse in onboarding, so that your onboarding process will be smooth. So all these fields are coming from Employee Central itself. Yeah, so these are the standard fields which are available as part of success factors, and the same structure we are reusing in onboarding as well. Okay, so I will just, so these are the fields, whatever the pre-populated data that you see here. So this data has been fed into the system in recruitment stage. Yeah, so I can simply enter the data. Being an onboarding executive, if I know some data here, I can enter or I can ignore it. These are optional. Wherever the data shows, the field shows hashtag mark, these are mandatory fields without which you will not be able to proceed further. Okay, so you can ask me one question that, date of birth and country of birth is showing asterisk, but these are not mandatory fields. So even that is possible. We can make this mandatory, these fields mandatory only for candidate, not for onboarding executive. Yeah, so even those requirement as well, it is possible in onboarding 2.0. Yeah, this is a personal ID, nation ID information, which is, I don't know as of now, being an onboarding executive. I'll ignore it and click on continue. I'll land into a personal information page. So I'll enter the title, for example, MBA. And if I know the data here, I can just put it, or I can just ignore it. Yeah, bank name, I'll just put simply. Okay, so whatever the information is not required, I'll just ignore it. So this is the email which is registered in recruitment. So that will flow automatically into onboarding. So that will be the username for the candidate to log in. Phone information, being onboarding executive, I don't know. So I'll leave the phone information as it is. So every time while you are reviewing this step, so one email should be primary. So you should make this is primary to yes. So if you leave as it is, as no one proceeds, system will ask you to just choose this as yes. Yeah. So I'll ignore all these portraits, address information and primary emergency contact and dependent information. I'll just leave as it is for now, and I'll click continue. Okay. So if I go here, so this data is pre-populated automatically from the position object. Again, all these data has flown into recruitment, and again, it is coming back into employee central. Sorry, onboarding. Yeah. So I'll choose the mandatory fields for now, and I'll just proceed further. 1st August 2023 is the joining date of this candidate. Click continue. Click on continue. So being an onboarding executive, you do have all these options available where you can just enter all this information, your compensation details and your bank information, all this you can enter. But for now, I'm just ignoring. But you being a customer, if you have all this information, you'll be able to enter all this information. Click on continue. So you have completed the first step, which is review new hire data. Now there are two parallel activities. One is to trigger the tasks. Another one is to candidate where they'll get an access to system, they'll get an access to onboarding, and they'll complete the review, data review step. Yeah. So now let me check what all the different tasks are assigned for onboarding executive to trigger for this particular new joiner. So if I go here under for you today, so you will see all the tasks that you're supposed to trigger being an onboarding executive. These are all the onboarding tasks. Okay, sorry. Yeah, there are different ways to access this. One is from the home page. Another one is from under home dropdown, you have onboarding. So from here, you can access them. Yeah, so I'll just directly search for my new joiner. Yeah, so if I go here, I have all the tasks which are assigned for me to trigger, like welcoming new recruit tasks. Just refresh. Yeah, these are the different tasks which being a onboarding executive, I should complete. Just quickly, let me just write a welcome message, complete the welcome message task. So automatically, these are the whatever the data that you see in a braces. These are the fields which will pick up from the data will be picked up from the candidate database. First name and last name, these are the dynamic variables. Automatically system will pick up the data from the employee database. So you have triggered the task for welcome message, and let me trigger buddy task, assigning a buddy to new joiner. Yeah, so I'm going to assign Daniel as a buddy to new joiner. Yeah, I'll choose Daniel as a buddy, and I can write a note to Daniel. Hi, please help new joiner. Just like this, and I'll click on submit. So similar way, you'll be able to trigger all the different tasks which are available here for you to complete. Yeah. So just to save time, I will quickly jump into a candidate page. I'll log in as a candidate. Let me just uh, log in as a candidate. Let me reshare my screen. Give me 1 second. Okay. So candidate will receive an email to reset the password and log in into SuccessFactors. Let me reshare my screen. Yeah, so this is the email which candidate will receive, so that he can click on this link and he can reset the password. Yeah. Okay, so I'll just paste here. I'll just type password here. Being a candidate, once after I get the email, I will click on that link and I'll reset the password. So once after I reset the password, then back to login. Let me just take the user ID as well. This is my username, which I have used to register in recruitment. Yeah. Let me just log in here. Welcome 1, 2. Okay. So login as a candidate. So I'm logging in as a candidate. So as soon you log in, this is a pop-up that you get. So once you log in, these are the different home. This is the landing page for a candidate where you'll see explore onboarding new guide and provide your details to get onboarded and welcome aboard. So this is the message that being a administrator you have triggered. So dear Jeevananand, welcome to our organization. So this is the welcome message that we have triggered as a onboarding executive. Yeah. So if you go down, so being a customer, you can you can broadcast different information to new joiners. Say for example, if you would like to just update the welcome videos, you can embed the welcome videos into the styles and company success rules and message from CEO. If you'd like to just broadcast any message from CEO, simply you can just put it in the homepage style, so that these styles and these information will be available for the new joiner. For example, being for new joiners, you have to make available few documents where they need to go through so that their onboarding will be easy. So you can just have them here like this, and once they click on this, they'll be able to download the details. Yeah. So now let me just quickly go here and start providing the information. Being a candidate, I have 3 steps. One is to review my personal information and uh, complete the additional data and signature step. So now I'm going to review the information which is updated in the system in the previous steps. Yeah, so I'll just update my date of birth and country of birth. I'll update United Kingdom. I'll just click continue. I can review and I'll be able to modify this information. So all these data that whatever you see here, right? So this can be controlled through RBP. All the field information can be controlled through RBP. Being a candidate, if you'd like to add any phone information, address information, primary emergency dependents, I'll be able to add it being a candidate. Yeah, please click on continue. And I'll be able to add work permit information as well. So for now, I'll just ignore and click continue. So I completed the first step, being a candidate. Now, the second step for a candidate is to complete the additional data. Yeah, so this is where we are going to collect different set of information from the candidates. Maybe you may ask candidate to provide certain documents. Maybe you may ask candidate to provide some information which is related to their medical fitness or uniform details. See, if you go here, uniform details, I'll just choose the shirt size and the trouser size. Yep, and I'll just put, and I'll attach document here. I'll just attach some document and security and policy. It is just a sample entities that we have created. So this is the data that whatever I am attaching here, right? So this is something which normally as part of standard will not get transferred into employee center. This stays within within onboarding. So that is where we implemented a solution. Being a talent team, we implemented integration package to transfer this data as well into employee central, so that you can access all this information at any point of time in employee center. So I have attached few documents here, and this is where I'm going to provide being a candidate vaccinated, and what vaccination I have taken. Say for example, I have taken Johnson & Johnson. I've just taken date of vaccine is this. For example, I taken vaccination on the vaccination center name and PCR required. I'll put it as yes. Date of PCR, for example, 7th Feb, whatever it is, right? You can just update it, and you can attach the document as well here. PCR document, for example. These are not mandatory, so I'll attach one attachment here. I'll just go to next entity to provide the information. Below is correct information and 180 centimeters. Weight, I'll just choose simply, I'll choose 78 and O positive. Yeah, so these are the different information which we are asking candidate to provide for your onboarding need. So as part of onboarding, you have to collect all this set of information from the candidate. So that's why you're collecting all this information. So being a candidate, you have completed 2 different steps, and now we are remaining with final step where the candidate is going to sign the documents. So complete your e-signature step is popped up, and you can, being a candidate, you can start this. So for all these steps, right, so there will be an email triggered to a candidate saying you have completed this step and this is a time for you to complete this step. So there will be an email trigger. So there will be a reminder emails as well if you don't take an action being a candidate or being a onboarding executive as well. For everyone, there will be a reminder facility as well. They can just, SuccessFactors has automatically the reminders will go out from the system. So if you go here, this is the policy agreement document that the candidate will review it and click to sign. Okay, so with this, candidate has completed all 3 steps and the onboarding is completed for the candidate. Now the data will move into Employee Central, manage pending hire activity, where the Employee Central administrator will just review the data and he will convert the candidate data into Employee Central data. So let me review that quickly just to save time. I'll just go into SuccessFactors as an administrator, Employee Central administrator. I will just go to manage pending hire activity. So once after I complete the manage pending hire, there will be a standard job which will run in a backend to convert the candidate into employee on start date. So once the candidate conversion happened from candidate to employee, then automatically the data will move from onboarding to EC. Yeah, so this is the candidate which I would want to transfer. So being an employee central administrator, I'll be reviewing the data of a candidate which is flown from onboarding. So I'll just review and click on continue. So just to save time, I'm not going to update anything. I'll just leave as it is and I'll keep going. So all this data has flown from onboarding into Employee Central. So this is an Employee Central page where I'm just reviewing being an Employee Central administrator. So being an Employee Central administrator, if I know all the time information, I can just update it here, and any information that extra that is required for Employee Central, I can add it here. So I should be able to add everything here. And the final step where I'm going to add the salary information, basically your pay components, all these information you can add it here, and your bank details you can add it here and click continue. So once after you click on continue, then with this you're going to complete the final step where the manage pending hire activity is completed being an employee central administrator, and now the data from employee onboarding to employee central will be automatically moved as soon the conversion job runs in the backend. So the job which is scheduled already in provisioning, so that will automatically run and the data will move into provisioning. Data will move into employee central automatically on the start date. If the start date is in past, automatically you will see the data in employee central as soon the job executes. Yeah, so let it run, let the job run. I'll just go back to my slide presentation so that I can cover other information. Then I'll just come back into success factors and I'll show the data which is transferred into employee central. Yeah, so we have seen the same this entire flow now. So this is how the onboarding process works in onboarding 2.0. Now the main focus area is what is a problem statement and why exactly the additional data is required in onboard why we need to transfer the additional data from onboarding to employee center. So here our problem statement is, as a standard process, onboarding, whatever the custom data, whatever the additional data that we collected in onboarding will not be transferred to EC automatically. Yeah. So this is one of the most customers requirement that, like the data, whatever you collect in onboarding, they need to have it in Employee Central, because Employee Central is a master system where we are going to store all the information which is related to employee. Yeah. So because of this reason, we have come up with a solution. Let me just go to another slide. So why this onboarding data, the additional onboarding data is important? Yeah, onboarding 2.0 has a facility to collect this additional onboarding additional data through additional onboarding data collection step, like your vaccination details and any additional documents that you need to collect. You can collect all this information, but you cannot transfer this into Employee Central. If you don't transfer this to Employee Central, then you'll not be, it is not so easy to access this information from onboarding. Yeah, onboarding data will not stay a long time. So there will be a data retention time as well for them. The automatically the data will go off. So that is why it is very important to store the required data that we collected in onboarding in Employee Central, so that you can refer back at any point of time using within Employee Central in the employee profile. Yeah. So why the solution that which as a talent team which we are proposing is important is because it is very critical for customers to access the data from onboarding after the candidate conversion into Employee Central, because the data will store in onboarding, not in Employee Central. To access the information from Employee Central is very easy than going back into onboarding system and just dig out the information. So that's why we come up with a solution to push this data into Employee Central. Yeah. So the solution is, as a talent team, like we developed as part of our integration package to transfer the data from onboarding to EC. Yeah. So our solution will transfer custom data collection into onboarding custom data collection into Employee Central custom entities. We need to create custom entities, similar custom objects here. The similar portlets we need to create in Employee Central as well, so that the data automatically will transfer from onboarding to Employee Central. So what is the prerequisite to implement our solution? There are 4 different prerequisites that we need to have to deploy our solution, right? So one is CPI, Cloud Platform Integration we need, so that we can connect the data from one system to another system. We can pull the data from onboarding and push the data into Employee Central. And SuccessFactors Onboarding 2.0, obviously it should be implemented, and Employee Central should be implemented. And we need dedicated one custom MDF object for integration to work. So we need to do certain configuration within MDF object so that our integration package will work. Yeah. Let me just jump into our system and check whether the data is transferred. Yeah. So let me just search for the candidate. Okay. So let me reshare my screen. Yeah, let me reshare my screen. Okay. So if you can see my screen, so this is the candidate that which we have completed the hiring process, and the candidate is converted into Employee Central. So if you go here, we have created 3 entities to transfer the data from onboarding to EC, uniform details. So again, customer can choose what are the different data that you would like to transfer. It's not that all the entities. I was having somewhere around 5 entities in onboarding, but I don't want all the 5 entities data to transfer into Employee Central storage. I want only 3 different entities, right? So all these are possible in our integration package that we developed. You can choose which data needs to be transferred and what are the different elements that you need to transfer. Yeah. So here I'm transferring uniform details and COVID vaccination status and EC medical provider details. Yeah. So this is the data which we have captured in onboarding, and including the attachments, automatically our integration package will push the data into Employee Central. At any point of time, if you'd like to refer back, you don't need to go back into onboarding system and refer the data. So every time, like, you can directly just access the employee profile from here in the Employee Central and go to onboarding information, and you can see all the data that we have collected as part of onboarding. What are the candidate has provided, right? So that information will be available here. So even candidate will have an access. Again, it can be controlled through RBP, role-based permissions. You can give a permission to view for a candidate employee, or you can just disable this. So all these are possible in Employee Central. Yeah, with our solution basically. Yeah. So let me go back to my PPT. Yeah. So what are the key benefits with our integration? Yeah. So as we discussed earlier, right? So it is plug and play solution, right? So it is very quick to deploy. So it can be deployed for the live customers as well, and it is just we need one MDF object to create, and onboarding and employee central should be implemented. So if we have this setup ready, then we can just simply just plug our CPI integration from to onboarding and employee central, so that you can quickly activate it so that the data will automatically transfer into employee central. Yeah. So document collection tool. Yeah. So this solution is designed to capture all the documents from SF onboarding and make sure all these available in employee central uh, employees employee profile. Yeah. So it's not that every time you'll go back to onboarding system and dig for the data. So automatically this data will be available at any point of time to review it. You can just simply review it from employee central itself. So that will be available in employee profile basically. So real-time integration, as soon the conversion job is done, the integration will be picked up and the data will be moved automatically. You no need to run manually, or you no need to you don't need, basically you don't need to run the job. So automatically uh, this standard conversion job, provisioning job runs to convert the candidate into employee. Then once the candidate is converted to employee, automatically our integration job runs and move the data from onboarding to EC. Flexible trigger design. Yeah. Company admins, like being an administrator, they have both auto and backlog control. So say for example, if you'd like to re-trigger this integration for one of the candidate, say you feel some data is missing and some you need to re-trigger this integration so that all the onboarding data will be picked up, the additional data will be picked up and pushed into employee central. Then this option we have with the administrators itself, you don't need to touch the integration, you don't need to go back to integration system to re-trigger the integration. You have, with our solution, we have set up in the instance itself. So easily uh, administrators can just create uh, this backlog control option in manage data, and automatically the integration will be re-triggered and picked up the data from onboarding and pushed into uh, employee central. Yeah. Ability to sync the historical onboarding data. Yeah. Say for example, if the customer is already live, say for example, customer is live on 1/1/20, like maybe Jan 1st 2023, and now they would like to implement this solution, and they would like to look for all the historical all the existing onboardies data to be picked up from onboarding and pushed into employee central. Since there is no standard solution to push the data from onboarding additional data to employee central as part of standard solution. So they would like to implement this solution, but they would like to implement this solution for the existing employees as well. They would like to pick the data from onboarding and push into employee central, right? So even this option we have here with our solution, you know, we just need to run the historical integration job at once we implement this solution for you being a customer, right? So we will run this job. You can specify what date onwards you would like to run this job. So once we run this job, automatically from that date onwards, whatever the candidates that we have, and all those candidates data will be picked up and pushed into employee center. Alerts via email notification. For example, for some other reason, integration is not triggered. Maybe because of the downtime, maybe because of the invalid credentials, whatever the reason it is, right? So if the job is not executed correctly, and if the failures in the job, then there will be an automated emails mechanism as well we set up in our solution, that administrator will receive an email saying, you like so and so job is failed for due to these reasons. Yeah. Auto adaptation. Any field changes in onboarding and employee center, there will not be impact in the solution. So if you're changing a field, if you're adding a fields, or if you're removing a fields in both the entities, in onboarding entity and in employee central entity, you need not to worry. You need not to touch your integration. Automatically, our solution will take care, and it will just auto adapt. So based on the fields that whatever is available here, automatically system will pick the data and push into Employee Central. If say, for example, if you introduce new fields in two entities in onboarding vaccination details entity and in Employee Central vaccination detail entity. So this new fields will be automatically mapped and the data will be pushed. So you no need to worry about that. Scalability. Any new objects that you enable in onboarding and easy can be easily managed by our solution without touching the integration. Meaning, uh, say for example, you have as of now as part of our solution that whatever I have shown you now in onboarding you were having 5 entities, but you chose to push the data to for only for 3 entities. But later point of time, you introduce a new object in onboarding and you'd like to have this data into Employee Central. So you don't need to touch the integration. So with a simple configuration by the administrator itself. So being an administrator, uh, they can just do some simple two different steps of configuration so that automatically this new object, new entity integration will be taken care. So you don't need to just go into the integration and do the corrections or changes. So that will be taken care automatically. Yeah. So these are all the key benefits of our solution that whatever we developed as part of integration packages for uh, to automate our custom data collection moving to Employee Central entities. Yeah. With this, I'm going to stop here. If you have any questions, we can take up now. Let me open the chat box. Is it possible to limit the review new hire data to only the recruiter of the requisition? Uh, yeah, review new hire data. The first step that whatever we have assigned to a hiring manager or onboarding executive, you can have it. Even you can assign this to a recruiter. Yeah, it is possible to assign it to recruiter or to a group of people or to a manager. So it is purely configurable and it is possible to uh, assign to anyone that based on your requirement. Yeah. Are candidates able to add their information in mobile environment? Yeah. So yes, the candidate can access all the information in mobile browser, but not in the mobile app. Mobile app, as of now, mobile app is uh, not supported for onboarding 2.0. So it is in a feature roadmap, but as of now, it is not supported. But in onboarding, by using a browser, they'll be able to complete all the activities that whatever they do in the system, in the desktop. Yeah, that is possible. Yeah, if talent team is not our implementation partner, how can we access or pay for this integration? You can directly get in touch with our team. uh, I think our team, maybe our sales team or Vinisha. So we will just communicate with you and we will be able to just deploy this solution for you. It's not required we have to be a partner, implementation partner for you, but we'll be able to just uh, execute this piece of work for you. Yeah. Any more questions? I think if no questions, over to you, Vinisha.
All right. Thanks a lot, Manjunath. It has been a wonderful session. Guys, please, if you have any questions, please feel free to post it in the chat box. Um, I hope you don't have any more questions. If there are not many now. So the video has been recorded, and it will be sent to you, like I said, by the end of the day today. So I'm just giving it one more minute in case if you have any last minute questions. All right then. Thanks a lot, Manjunath, again for a wonderful session. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. We hope to come again with yet another amazing session in front of you next month. So just watch out for our emails. And if you have any questions, again, please feel free to drop us an email at info@talentteam.com. And we'll be happy to take it up. I'll ensure that it'll go to Manjunath, get it answered, and I'll revert back to you. With that, thanks a lot for joining.
I think there was a question from someone that how can I contact to talent team if you are not a partner, right?
Oh, yeah,
I think
you can
as
always,
just,
yeah,
yeah,
you can always email us at info@talentteam.com, or you can visit our website at www.talentteam.com.
yeah. So this is the information for you. So you can just drop an email on this email ID so that we'll just get in touch with you to execute this piece of work, even though we are not a partner for you, implementation partner for you, basically. Yeah. Okay. I think
Okay,
it is in
then.
the chat as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much for everyone for your participation. Thank you so much.
Thanks
Thanks,
a lot.
Vinisha. Bye.
Bye now.